Good night, everyone. We are YouTubing from a different location. Yeah, you all want to know where I am, don't it? I'm going to keep you in mystery for now, but I'm not in my room as I usually would be. So we are YouTubing from a different part of the house, somewhere more glamorous, much more glamorous than my room. So we didn't do a promo about tonight's live, but I was hoping that everybody saw that I said I was gonna come on tonight and that people would join me. So welcome. We are YouTubing. I'm going to move very quickly. We are supposed to have some guests. I want to bring them on as soon as possible so that we can get through this. Um, there's a few things. I don't think we're going to stay long tonight. Michelle, can you I sent the links to the guests. We are guesting. So Michelle, can you pass on those links and just double check with them and see who is ready? And let's see who first we're gonna bring on. And let's guest in. Hi everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. I trust everyone is in good health and feeling okay. The um the election season is winding, is it winding down, winding up to reach that crescendo, which is going to be Monday, and everybody is declaring victory. I mean, everybody declaring victory. Everybody declaring victory. PNP declaring victory. JLP declaring victory. I understand that there are some polls that each of them have done, but nobody know I share them poll, so we don't know if there are polls or anything polls at all. But we know that people said every poll, but there's no poll. Michelle, is anybody ready to come on? Can we get some confirmation about people that don't want to get into my monologue? Hello everyone, Amazing Grace. Hello, Amazing Grace. That's so wonderful that name that you use. Amazing Grace. Hannah, you got an alert. Great. You're not only subscribed, you are on what you call it? Notification watch. Thank you, Anna. Hello, Dawn Rowe. Good night. Good night, darling. Up, Maxwell Barnes. That is true. Good night, Everall. Where are you now, Everall? West Coast, East Coast. Which coast are you on? Because today you were somewhere on the West Coast. We don't know where you are. I hope you're traveling very safely on the road. You got an alert to Amazing Grace. I'm glad you all have your notifications up. Thank you very much for joining. I hope others will come and join. We're looking forward to having to speak to Mr. Joseph Patterson from the UIC and possibly get to speak to his. But we have our first guest now, and I just sent her the 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 welcome, the addition. Good night,
Good night.
everyone. Welcome Miss Sonia Kildare. Miss Kildare is a um, independent candidate for the Red Hills division. And I invited her on tonight because she's an unknown. We don't know her, so I'm just going to shut my mouth and allow her to introduce herself to you and tell us briefly about yourself, Sonia. We only have 10 minutes. Tell us briefly about yourself, and then tell us how you became a independent candidate, and just talk, and then at the end of all of that, I might ask you two questions, and then you get to talk to the voters directly. We all right with that, Sonia? Are you hearing
Leave
me,
it, this
Sonia?
thing not turn up properly, you know.
I hear you, Sonia. Are you hearing me?
I'm not hearing you clearly, you know.
Okay, something wrong with me and you. Everybody else hearing me?
I'm hearing you, but I'm not hearing you loud enough.
Yeah, my phone,
And this thing turn up.
light. I'm sorry, darling. There's no which background, mine or Sonia's? My background or Sonia's background? Oh, they're hearing me.
My
But
background look a little dark.
your background is dark. My background is, this is all the light you're going to get because I am intruding into my daughter's splendacious, wonderful room. This is not my domain. I don't do dark. I don't do dark drapes and all of that, you know. So this is the best I can do. So Sonia, good to have you. Um, tell us about yourself a little bit.
The background of this is so dark.
Tell
Yes,
us a
my
little
name
bit
is.
about yourself. Forget about the background, Sonia. Just tell us, just talk. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Sonia Kildare.
Hmm.
I'm living in a little district named New River. That's where I born and grow. And I went to the Cavaliers Early School, man in Stony Hill Early School back then. Well, we never get the opportunity to go to any high school because my father died when I was young, at the age of 7. He died, leave 8 of us, and the oldest one was only 15. So we didn't have any help to send any of us to any high school or university or anything like that.
Sonia, just talk. No? We listening to you. No? Just talk. I put my
Okay,
mic on
okay.
mute. I put my mic on mute so that you can get to talk. You tell us about how you were brought up and where you live and all of that. Tell us how you got involved in the politics so much so that you are now an independent candidate running in the Reddish
Well,
division.
I get involved in politics. I have a brother that used to fight PMP, and that is when he bring me in it from I was 15-year-old. That time we never know anything about voting, but as people would say now, bandwagon. Anywhere the PMP go, we follow behind them on the bandwagon. But years and years through, I realized that things that we really want was a community. We need community development, right? Because until now, not even as much as a bike come down in my community where I live. We have no proper road, no light. One time I remember I get a letter, I write up a letter and get some signature, send it on to JPS to get legal light for the community. And the response was that they can't give us the light because we don't have a drive road. And we don't have a drive road.
What's the name of the district again, Sonia?
No, the division is already. Hey,
It's the Reddish division. What's
the
the
red
name
is
of the district
division.
that? Yeah, but what's the name of the district you're telling me about?
Oh, New River, New River.
New River. Where is that located? Just give us an idea.
I don't know if you know above rocks. Coming
I
from
know above
Stony
rocks.
Hill side, go over gap.
I know Guava Gap.
Right, when you pass that community and come around, like you're going down by Parks Road side,
Ah, ah.
right? In that area there.
But that's dirt road. That's rubble. All of
I
that is
don't know.
rubble.
I don't know how far on this side you know. You
Eh.
know Cavaliers.
No, no, no Cavaliers, but I know above rocks.
Well,
And
to
the
reach to
further
above
that you.
rocks, you have to drive through this community.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You see, you have to drive through this community.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, man,
Mm-hmm.
I was so upset with the PMP them. Cause every time that election coming around and you talk to them, I say, listen, we don't want to hand out. Every one day you can't find no food. We just need a community.
What do you mean by
We need
what do you
some
mean we
farmer
just
development.
what do you mean by we just need a community? What do you mean exactly by
No,
that?
we need development in our community.
Okay.
In this time and age now, not even as much as road. We had PMP come in, Labour come in, PMP come in, Labour come in. when you talk to the councillors, them say them buy them vote, so they don't have to do nothing in the community.
And that's right. I mean, if a man pay if him vote, him know who you not after him win. And that's a
But how
fact
much
of life.
people him a go pay for vote?
Well, I don't know. About how many citizens live down that area?
Mm, in this maybe 100 and had we have on the voters list. Not to mention the children them don't count in it. But we had 200 and had people on the voters list.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't count the children them that don't have any vote.
Mm-hmm.
No formal recreation centers for them. The water that run in here, we have to take responsibility of caring for those pipe. Because when them come, them want to take up the pipe, right? And the river water is not clean for us to drink. So anything happen to the pipe them down here, we have to fix them.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you are basically then from a PMP household and from a PMP community. So you are basically a PMP. And you don't the candidate for the People's National Party is um, Principal Keisha Ale,
Yes.
and you know her.
Yes, I see her already. I see her already. I saw her about 2 times.
Okay. And what made you want to run as an independent against her and whoever the Jamaica Labour Party sitting councillor is?
No, because listen, if you have labor right and you have PMP and they are in for so many years and you don't see no farmer improvement, and it's not only in my community alone, because when I walk the division, it's a total disgrace. If you know that for how many years we have labor right, we have PMP in. What is these councillors and MP doing in this division?
And that is what motivates you to want to represent the community.
Yes, exactly so.
So you were nominated, duly nominated as an independent candidate.
Yes, I did.
And you have a campaign going on now.
Yes, man, and it look good on the ground, I tell them, say, but you see this vote buying thing,
Yeah.
that is the only thing. And I have a issue with Mr. Tavares because I end up having two symbol, right? And I know that and it's yesterday, him let me know about the next one.
Let me get this straight. When you're an independent candidate, they present you with a number of symbols from which you can choose one. Is that true? Did they present you with a number of symbols from which you chose? Sonia? Sonia got disconnected. Wonder if we can get her back. Michelle, see if we can get back Sonia. Um, she left us abruptly. Um, Signal seemed to be weak, and it fell. Let's wait a few more. Let me look at more people comments and see if I can. Tyrone. We want to get to that Tyrone, but she she gone, and I figure it's a signal. As she said earlier, not even JPS want to put light up there because them do have a proper drivable road. So I can imagine what the signal thing is like there. So then, so maybe she's operating off a skimpy signal system. So we lost her. Um, it makes no sense. If we get her back, we will bring her back. But we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get the next guest on. We're not gonna waste no time on that and anything. All right. How you all doing? Everybody good? Our background is that's true, and we don't know what the reason is for that amazing grace. So we should just live with it. People does that for various reasons. We don't know. My background, doctor, I don't like it. This is my daughter's room. I have to borrow the room because there was too much noise coming from that end of the house where my room is concerned. And because the agreement with the noise makers, oh, she's back. Let's get her back. Um, because of the agreement with the noise makers, them can only make noise um, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, unless the other days of the week are holidays, and that's the agreement with them and the community. So I can't basically ask them to just shut off. Sonia, you back with us?
Okay, it's on again.
Yes. So Sonia, some of the viewers are asking, what what do you have to offer? Why do you want to offer yourself as counselor? Why are you running?
No, because from over the time, I work into my community,
Yeah.
right? And even other adjoining community, there's a next place in the same Reddy's division. I was living there for some time,
What place
right?
is that?
And we help them to get road,
So you're a community
not
person,
right
huh?
through the community,
So you're a
right?
community
And
development
we
person.
also lobby with them for them to get a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I went there to live, there was an old bridge that them have that the bridge break under the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
And more the car them used to have to park up by the road, right? And we lobby for them to get the bridge. And them have them nice pretty bridge.
Mm. Have you visited them since
You
you
see?
got that
Because
bridge?
that bridge break, some it break a couple
You're not hearing me, Sonia?
yes. You're not hearing me?
Yeah, but are you hearing me?
Yes, I hearing you now.
So I'm asking you, so
I
you are
always a
community.
community activist,
Yeah. So I'm
I work in
asking
my
you now,
community.
have you visited those other places where you say you help them to get the bridge?
The bridge,
Yeah.
that was a community they call Red Ground, Plum
And
Street.
and you have
I
visited
was
them
living
since
there
you have
for a
been
while.
and you have visited them since you became a candidate.
No man, not since before I enter representative politics. You see? I always a community activist because I believe in a community development.
Okay.
Right?
So I'm going to give you a few minutes more to don't talk to me. Talk to the voters. Say what you have to say to the voters of Red Hills Division. And you can call out the name of communities and ask them to support you. Go right ahead, my dear.
Well, I just like to tell the Reddy's division that I, Sonia Kildare, would like to represent them in the parliament at the local government level, right? Because I come through a lot of this community and I see where these community need development. And I'm willing to work with them, right? So I'm asking them when Monday to go at the poll and to vote for Sonia Kildare. My symbol on the ballot paper is the star, right? Because they gave me a symbol, they gave me the symbol as a lion. And yesterday, Mr. Tavares tell me that on the voters list, the voters paper is the star on it. Right? I was so upset with him, I don't even know if I should. So I said to them, so listen, if the lion becomes the star, then we are going to work with it. You see?
Star.
So vote for me for a better community because I realize that not even training center, the Above Rocks Training Center closed down. They had one in Reddy's that closed down, right? And I would really like the opportunity to really work with these young people in this division.
Thank
And
you,
if you don't
Sonia.
vote for me, you can't lose.
Thank you, Sonia. We're going to help spread the
Be-
message for you. Thank you very much for coming on. Good luck, darling. I'm so sorry that this happened so late in the game. I would definitely come on up there and give you a strength, but I don't know if I
Thank you very
can.
much.
But God be with you, and voters of Red Hills, if you are sick and tired of the JLP and the PNP, then go put a vote beside the star for Miss Sonia Kildare, who's a community
Yes,
person, and she will help build
we
the
don't
community.
want them to
Support
buy
her.
the. And I just want to let them know, do not sell your vote to anyone.
You hear
Your
that?
vote is your
Don't sell your
voice.
vote. All right.
Right? Your
Thank you,
vote is
Sonia.
your voice. Don't sell your vote.
Thank you, Sonia. Good luck, darling. Bless you.
Thank you very much for having me.
There. My pleasure. All right, there you have it. Red is division. Now here's a strange thing about Red is division. Michelle, are we ready for our other guest? Here's the strange thing about the Red is division now, which is why I wanted to bring on Miss Kildare. Um, you have a PMP candidate who is the principal uh what's her name? I just remember Keisha Hale, and then you have the sitting councillor who's a JLP candidate, and now you have a activist who have been a PMP but is now a independent running to represent her community. What do you think will happen if she Skyfall have some votes from the PMP? Huh? You all can interact and tell me what you think. But yes, she was so convincing. Annie, you're a troublemaker, you know, truly, truly a big troublemaker. um, uh, anyway, Michelle, is our other guests ready? I am when they are or you are to join us. So, yesterday was the day that the election workers voted, the police voted, the the soldiers voted, and it was a pretty quiet process going on around the place. I understand that some voting stations was without what is it? I get some information that some voting stations were. Let me see what the information was that I got. Complaining about some voting thing with the election day and police and soldiers. Anyway, I get that there was some problem in the St. Catherine area yesterday. Michelle, is Mr. Patterson or Sheldon ready? That we can get them on. Let me text Mr. Patterson. Please bear with me. I am just getting the hang of this thing. So the tablet can do this while I'm on the phone. Hear me. I am a techie. All right. So I send Mr. Patterson the thing and let's hope him can join. So tell me in the comments, all of you, how many of you saw um, observe anything from election day yesterday, which was the day that the election workers and the police and the soldiers voted. Um, Anything you can share with me? Any source? Oh, without ballots. That's right. There was stations in St. Catherine that had no ballots over there. I think Fitzjackson was the one complaining about it. Was it? I believe that he was, Trials and crosses, comrades and laborers. What do you mean by that? Trials and crosses and comrades and laborers. What kind of trials and crosses and comrades and laborers? I don't understand you. Explain yourself. There's no trials, no crosses. Explain yourself, man. It's just PNP and laborers doing them thing. You weren't looking and paying attention? All right. Let's keep talking a bit because it don't look like these people are ready yet. So I did a little digging to find out what happened at the election day, workers and soldiers voting yesterday. I wanted to just get some information as to what happened. So in 2016, 41% of voters turned out for the election workers and the armed forces voting day. 41% turnout they had in 2016. In 2016, a mere 1,946 policemen and women voted in the local government elections. In 2016, a mere small fraction of our police force, 1,946 of our policemen and women voted. In the military, you call it the army, yes, the army, and of that 1,946, that represented 19% of our police force. So in 2016, 19% of our police force voted in the 2016 local government elections. Very, very low turnout that was. It was even lower in the army. A mere 10%. A mere 10% of soldiers turned out in 2016 and voted. 247 of them. I need to find out how many soldiers we have in our army. I mean, it's not an army really, because the army don't really fight them. You're not an army if you're not fighting a war, really. But 247 people turn up and vote. Soldiers, women and men, in 2016. In 2016, the election day workers, not even them showed up in any great numbers on election for to vote as an election day worker. 52% of them turned up. 13,656 of them turned up and voted in 2016. Now, I want you to look at this. In 2016, we had 227 polling divisions. 227 polling divisions. I don't know how many PDs those I'm sure I could find out how many PDs that is, how many PDs. I think I have information as to how many PDs in Region 3. When I get, I'm going to share it with you. And how many PDs in each place. But it can't be 13,000 people. It must be much, much more than that. And that was just 52% of the workforce. So 48% of the election day workforce. And when I say election day workforce, I'm talking about indoor agent, outdoor agent, one day police. A mere 52% showed up and voted in 2016. Michelle, are we getting Mr. Patterson or not? Is Mr. Patterson not coming on our Sheldon? They must tell us, and let us just moving right along, so we can know what we're doing. You know, this is not healthy for us to just sit here waiting for him, because next thing you know, I sit here waiting on him and then talking, and then by the time him for join us. Mr. Patterson, can you join us now if you so please, sir? Well, Mr. Patterson said he will join us now, and here he is. Let's add him. Mr. Joseph Patterson.
Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear me
I'm
clearly?
great. How are you, sir?
Excellent, excellent.
Pleased to make your acquaintance through the
Same
phone.
here for the first time ever.
Pleased to you. Are you, one question I have to ask you first. Are you still the head of the UIC?
I'm the chairman of the UIC.
You're the chairman.
Yes.
And is that a ceremonial role, or you are the,
Um,
man, I don't know, tell me.
it's a responsible role.
It's a
So
responsible
I
role.
am just as responsible as every other member of the board, the executive, the
I'm not
national
hearing you.
executive.
Something went here a while ago.
I think I lost your voice there for a second.
Yeah, I am not hearing you either.
Yeah, I saw Miss
Okay.
Stern was just calling me. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I am hearing you. I am hearing you fine now. I'm hearing you
What has
fine.
happened is I can hear you, but the volume has dropped.
Yes, that it will come
Let,
back up. It will come back
I'm
up.
gonna come out and come back in. Yes, let me
No
try
man,
that.
it will. I am hearing you fine, but my volume
Right.
will come back up.
But what happened is I'm not here. I'm hearing you, but not as clearly as I'd like to.
But it's not
So
your.
let me
It's not
just,
from
I'll
your
come out
end.
and come back in. Let me just come out.
I'm trying to tell you, it's not from your end. All right, Mr. Patterson said he's going to step out and step back in. I was trying to tell him that the phone is giving problem and it's not his issue, it's mine. But let's do it again. And here we go again. We are back.
I can hear you loud and clear now.
All right, that's great. Wonderful. So you are the chairman of the UIC.
Yes.
And that's what does that entails?
Well, as chairman, I'm responsible for chairing the national executive. It also involves making sure that the laws and rules and constitution of the UIC are followed. And if there are any disputes in the organization, it's my job to lead the resolution of that. If I'm not a part of the dispute, of course.
Okay. How many candidates are the UIC fielding in this local government elections?
We have five candidates. Mr. Winston Wright in Betheltown in Western Westmoreland. Mr. Chase Neal.
Eastern Westmoreland. Betheltown is
Western.
Eastern Westmoreland.
Did I say Western or Eastern?
Yeah, you said West.
Okay,
Betheltown, Eastern Westmoreland, yes.
thank you. And then we have Mr. Chase Neal in Western St. Mary, in a
Mr.
place, Western St. Mary, in a place called Gale Division.
Yeah, Gail. Gail.
Gale Division, yes.
Yeah, I know Gail, yeah.
And we have Mr. Sheldon McGann, who is in a place called Brandon Hill in West Rural St. Andrew. And we have Mr. Kenneth Harper, who is in East Rural St. Andrew in a place called Mount Industrial. And I am challenging for the Braze River Division in Eastern St. Elizabeth,
Ah,
Northeastern. Yes.
now that just leads me to the natural next question. When the
Mm-hmm.
UIC started, there was a whole host of young women with the
Mm-hmm.
UIC. But you have 5 men running as candidates. What happened to the women?
Well, it's very simple. You know, in any organization, you have a process of selecting persons who are going to run for office. We don't really look at them from a standpoint of women or men. We look at competences and qualities. And if you pass the process, you pass the process, whatever your agenda.
Do you still have a large contingent of women in the organization?
Absolutely. We have more women than men in our organization.
So how come you have more women than men and you do have not even one woman in the lineup of five?
No, we don't select candidates on the basis of us deciding who becomes one. Candidates go through a
Who
process.
select who select the candidates?
The candidates actually select themselves. They first of all apply for the position. They must meet some requirements within their constituency, the work that they do, the competence and qualities that they display. And if they meet those requirements, then they're automatically in. If you have two or more persons, there's a runoff election where the local citizens get to vote to decide which of the two they want or which of the three they want, and then they're decided. We have a very transparent process. We don't have a leader-centric situation where the leader says, at a person that we want. We have a process, and if you pass the process, you pass the process.
Yeah. So do you have organization in all 63 constituencies or
Absolutely
228
not.
divisions?
No, we don't. No, we're still trying to get to that stage where we have organizations in all 63 and all 228. We're a growing party, a movement mostly. And with that, you know, we have all the challenges of finding the resources and being able to find quality people, train those persons, and have them represent. Takes some time. We're going through that.
Yeah. How was the health of the UIC though as a serious political challenge to the two established parties?
Well, I think the UIC is more a serious challenge in terms of our policy and our narrative. We're not yet at the stage where we have a robust, large contingent of candidates or a robust war chest that would allow us to fund certain activities that we want to. So financially, we're weak compared to the others. Um, in terms of human resources, we're weaker than the others. And in terms of longevity and history, we're weaker than the others. We're strongest within our policies, our manifesto, and the narrative that supports our existence.
In the division that you are running in St. Elizabeth, is that your hometown? Is that somewhere that you know very well?
Yeah, that's where I live. I live in northeast St. Elizabeth in an area called Bow, which is just on the border of the Braze River Division and the Balaclava Division. And based on, I wasn't planning to run actually. I was going to be helping another candidate, but at the last minute, he was not able to, so I stepped in and filled the gap to give the constituency opportunity to vote for the
I don't have the
UIC.
information as to how many voters are on the voters list in that division. Brace River, you said?
Yes,
In the Brace River division. Do you know how many voters are in the Brace River division
yes,
on the
yes,
list?
I do, I do.
Yeah.
But it looked like what we're playing with today, school challenge quiz.
Pardon me?
What we're doing today is school challenge quiz.
No. I'm just getting some information from you first. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that is asking you questions that are important
I'm,
because
I'm, yeah,
I am going to give you an opportunity to talk to
mhm.
those voters, and
Sure.
every candidate everybody that I bring on, I normally have the list
The
where I can
standard list of
say,
questions.
yeah, where I can say how many people was on the list in 2016, how many voted for the
Mm-hmm.
JLP, how many voted for the PMP. I
Right,
did not know, so maybe the fault is
right.
mine for having not known that you
No
were actually a
problem. So
candidate
you would
in
know,
a division.
so you would
So
know
it's
that
just
in the last,
information I'm seeking.
so you
Go
would
ahead.
know
Go
that
ahead.
in the last election, the two colonial parties got less than 30% of the vote in that constituency. And you would know that of course, the PNP won the constituency. It had been in the hands of Mr. Hagan for 21 years.
Oh yeah.
And you would know that it's a strong PNP area, but that over the years, the percentage of PNP votes has been declining to the point where the GLP won the constituency in the last election for a number of reasons. But one of them is the fact that the PNP continues to decline in the area. The GLP is fairly stagnant here. They're not growing per se. But based on the problems of the PNP, um, they managed to snatch the seat from the PNP. The UIC is on a mission to not only win the seat, but to actually bring real development to the people of Northeast Central Elizabeth. We have had from all sides, whether it's PNP or GOP, the representation has been so poor that most of our farmers are now very poor. Our roads are in terrible condition. Our farmers are, languishing. Our young people have no hope, no aspirations, no dreams anymore because they just gave up. Or they try to leave the party, they try to leave the constituency. So we need now some real leadership here in Jamaica in this particular constituency. And my job is to provide that as councillor candidate and subsequent MP.
What you reckon your chances are of winning?
Well, that's really up to the voters to decide. From a fundamentalist point of view, we can seriously say that historically, the vote has gone a particular way. I know it's a matter of whether or not the people have heard enough, seen enough, experienced enough to decide that, what, it's time for a change. The feedback I'm getting on the ground is that a number of persons are feeling that way. Um, I don't see a great appetite for either of the two candidates that are presented by the two colonial parties, but it's by no means a cakewalk. It's never easy for an independent candidate without the kind of financing that the other two have to compete. But we're doing our best, and it's all up
I
to the
I
people.
feel I feel this is the election cycle for independent candidates. How you feel about that?
Well, here's the thing: it's the appetite for change has always been very high since 2016. The challenge is that while the appetite is high, the political intelligence of our people is not there yet. They're not at the intelligence level to understand how the political system works, to know when they're being duped, when they're being tricked. So their emotions are played upon in a seesaw between these two parties. So when the pain hits, most of them will do one of two things. Either not vote at all because they're fed up with their party and they're fed up with life in Jamaica, so they just not vote, or they go back home to one of their two traditional parties because they feel obligated to them because maybe grandmother did with a house, or the grandfather did with a piece of land, or something, a familial reason. But at the end of the day, what we need is an electorate which recognizes how politics work, that they're being bought by the PSOJ through these two parties, that no matter which of them they vote for, they're simply voting for the PSOJ oligarchs that controls both of them. So whether you're voting for the nice emotional feel of a Michael Manley and the memory of Michael Manley, which is no longer something that drives the People's National Party in terms of its actions and activities, or you are mesmerized by the history of Edward Seaga and want to continue with Papa Heddy or with Buster, however far that is. The bottom line is you need to know that these two parties are creatures of corporate Jamaica, and corporate Jamaica buys them, pays for them, owns them, and controls them. So all the policies, all the regulations, all whatever they do to us is inspired by, directed by what I call the PSOJ oligarchs, or worse than that, the globalist agenda that tends to control them easily because they want the money. Our politicians are money hungry. So anybody who comes to them, whether it's from abroad or locally, with some money right now, they're willing to sacrifice the Jamaican people at a whim. I lost you.
Yeah, I needed to unmute my mic. My
Okay.
apologies. You are saying then that the Jamaican people, the voters, um, don't reach that level of sophistication in voting to understand when they are being used or when they are being duped and a right and wrong from voting. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a declining trend. It was stronger. The power that these two parties have over the minds of Jamaican people has been waning. But while that power is waning, the maturity is still not yet fully developed to say, vote for a third party. Because what happened is to vote for a party, our people vote. They vote based on optics. So if they don't see the third party candidate behaving like what they're used to from the other two, do you have the big motorcade? Yes or no? No. Do you have money to buy poster all over the place? Yes or no? No. Do you have money for buying? Do you to stop at every bar and every club and get involved in all kinds of ways of moving
But
little bits of money
isn't
around?
that the nature of our political system?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that is the nature. And so that is because we have been so cultured by these two parties and their colonial masters system of divide and conquer. We are cultured by that. And that culture now has caused us to be easily manipulated by money as opposed to being driven by purpose. You might recall, and you know this very well, when Michael Manley was leading the PNP, you'd have people who would die for him without a dime because of the message and how it resonated with them. They loved the message and they loved the messenger. Today, you hardly see any of that at all in our politics. It's who has the most money to buy that temporary loyalty to bring out the votes. The more middle class, upper class Jamaican, they're involved in this as a theater. They watch the theater, they enjoy the theater. It's fun and games to watch. Then you have those at the lower level who this is their one-time opportunity. Every 4 to 5 years, they're noticed, they are relevant, they're on the caravan. They get a little bit of time to jump up and dance and get little money. And then for 4 to 5 years, they're back suffering. And you go and look at their homes. Their homes are in deplorable conditions. Some of them still will not have water. They will still not have, they can't buy a basket of grocery. Normally, they can't send their kids to school without, hoping for some part money or some remittance from abroad. So they suffer. But once every 4 to 5 years, they get excited. They get the party suddenly recognizes them and appreciates them because they need their vote to validate them, to authenticate them, to borrow money in our name, thief some of that money, and then sacrifice us to pay it back over the next several years. And so we continue on this roller coaster of suffering at the hands of politicians who are callous, wicked, mean, insensitive. I mean, lacking in any form of human quality to know that this is what they're doing to people year after year after year. And they come back and sit down at our table, our board table, our little old kitchen, dirty kitchen or a piece of board knock up together, and they'll come and pretend with me and sit down with me and eat and laugh with me, and then go back and live up at them cherry gardens and them red hills and whatever else they go on and have their chandeliers and their beautiful manicure lawn and their very high walls, where they can't even explain where the money come from on a politician's salary. Well, now the salary really gone up. But prior to now, the salary was too low to be able to provide the kind of mansions that they're building. And they get away with it because they know that come election, the intellect of the people that they're bringing out to vote isn't seriously zeroed in on the reality of how you manage to spend your entire life in politics. Like the Prime Minister, from the moment he left university until now, he has been a full-time politician for the most part. And he has been able to do what no other ordinary Jamaican in his age group is able to achieve in terms of financial wealth. And he's unable to point to any major contribution to the economy that has brought him this kind of wealth. But he gets away with it because the population is not mature enough to realize the significance of this and say, no, man, we shouldn't allow this to happen. We need to vote out such people and bring in persons of integrity who demonstrate that they can show how they earn a dollar and spend that dollar wisely to come to something meaningful in their lives, as opposed to people who are just milking society.
Some of the viewers are saying that you are now a politician as you are now a candidate.
Yeah,
And
well, of course, by nature.
you said that
Mhm.
politicians are money hungry, and
No,
they are
listen,
now assigning that to you as
yeah,
well. But I give you an
listen,
opportunity. I
sure.
don't agree with you and most of what you said. I mean, some
Okay,
of
that's
what you said,
okay.
and I'm not here to argue with you about whether I agree with you or not about anything. But the point of the matter is, Abraham Lincoln said, election belongs to the people. It really doesn't matter how the people exercise that right to choose whoever it is that they are going to choose to be their representative. Whether they're going to collect money for it, collect some food for it, 2 sheets of zinc for it, whether they are going to allow themselves to be abused and used for it. The basic underlying tenet is that election is something that is expressed in a free and fair democratic way, no matter how much or in what form or shape the people deem that to be their right to make that choice. So I don't agree with you that they get themselves used. Yes, trust me. When I look around the country, and I'm going to share this with you before we'll get to the next point, is that I see mothers now and fathers now um, having difficulty getting their children to vote for a particular party that they have supported because the children's argument is simple. Look from where they are up and down behind them, people that look as what you live. Look from where
Very
they are up
simple.
and down beside them, people that nothing happen for you. So let me ask you this when I preface that. Just on the off chance that the people might vote for you in Braze River. Because as I say, contrary to what people believe, I believe fervently that this is the election cycle for independent candidates if they play their cards right, if they can get out there and touch that card that is in every voter. Because as you rightly said, the thing has been deteriorating for so many decades now that people are at a point now where they are possibly ready to make that crossover into an independent candidate.
Yeah, well,
But I,
I want to be very clear on this one and very, very clear for you and your listeners and viewers. No independent candidate, no independent candidate that is not financially strong as a person or have the financial backing of somebody strong behind him has any chance in any of our elections. It's wishful thinking to think that because people are fed up with the two political parties, that they're able to, our current people, in our current mindset, in our current development, and I'll backtrack a little bit to give some more preface to this. Jamaica fails roughly 70% of its high school graduates every year. They leave school without the ability to read properly, comprehend properly, analyze properly, compute properly. So if you're lacking comprehension skills, lacking reasoning skills, lacking basic computational skills, they're not going to make that leap that we'd love them to make without some inducement. So what happened is the other two parties, they collect some $350 million from the PSOJ oligarchs every election cycle, and it grows every year, right? Every time you have an election, given inflation and all of that. This election, I'm sure when the numbers are counted, you're going to see somewhere in the region of some $400 million given to these two parties. No ordinary Jamaican who wishes to be an independent can compete with that. And money run things in this country. Whether we want to
why are you competing then? Do you have that
hold
kind of
on,
money or backing?
hold on. I'm getting to that. We must be very clear that that is what runs election. It's not the people just having a desire. What will happen? Here's what will happen. The people's desire will be expressed within the context of what the PSOJ oligarchs pay for. So they pay for the illusion of choice because they know that they control these two parties. So they like when we have this kind of conversation about third parties, where it's just a game and we're making some noise and say, can third parties come through now? But them know, and we know, anybody who has a real intellectual understanding of it knows that there's no independent in any one of these seats that can compete with the kind of dollars that will be spent by the PSOJ oligarchs through these two parties and their candidates. And bear with me, these candidates are not the candidates of the people. They're not there to represent the Jamaican people. They represent the party which represents the funders. And what the UIC is doing, we are chipping away by educating the people about the reality of their politics. And gradually and slowly, we're going to get to that critical mass when finally we have brought the people to that level of consciousness. And we have also caused our Jamaican people, home and abroad, to start funding their political party. And when we get to that mass where they start to fund the UIC, not with billions from a few wealthy Jamaicans, but rather from the ordinary men and women giving $1,000 here in Jamaica, $25 from the US, 25 from Canada, £10 from England, and that critical mass. And I'm predicting it's coming. Consider me a prophet tonight. I am prophesying that the day is going to come when we're going to have enough Jamaicans wise enough to guide the rest of those who are not so wise yet by putting their money where their mouth is and owning their own party and stop following two parties that are owned by first the colonial masters and then by the plantocracy and then by the PSOJ oligarchy.
So then, Mr. Patterson, with all of that, then why are you running? Do you have the funding that you are saying that an independent candidate would need to actually make an impact, or are you just running on a frivolous idea that you're just trying to put a dent in something? I mean, based on what you just said a while ago, it doesn't compute. The two things don't connect.
Well,
You are running.
I'm hoping eventually you'll see the connection. So what I'm doing now, what I'm doing right now,
Yeah.
I am building for the future. Just like how there's a time when your party was completely decimated and had to rebuild. We are building for the future. And so the future is coming faster than we might imagine when the building would have been done and the people will be ready and the change will come.
But Can I share something with you? I don't think we're going to have Sheldon on tonight. Do you believe we will?
No, we won't. No.
Okay, so let me talk to you about Brandon Hill then. Brandon Hill is the only place, the only division in the entire northern belt that the PMP has a seat. And the northern belt consists of West Rural, East Rural, North Central, Northeast, Northwest. And in that entire um, 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 conclave of Jamaica Labour Party control, the PNP have one seat, one single seat for many since we lost West Rural. One seat. And that is the Brandon Hill division, which is represented by Councillor Gareth Walker, who is not going back and who has not done anything or made any signified any kind of willingness to help the PNP candidate. The PNP candidate is somewhat weak. I mean, as far as I know, she don't have much workers. She she don't really know the lay of the land. She's a good person, nice person, but she don't know the lay of the land. She's not a political, so to speak. The JLP candidate is Abby Hill. I don't know what the PNP candidate name is, but she's a lawyer. I just can't remember her name. I never bother to try to, because she's kind of unimpressive, and you know. But the JLP candidate Abby Hill, who was also a PNP candidate in the Sonia division, I believe in probably 2012 or 2016. She's also underwhelming and performing below average, and the thing just looked funky and so. I would really love to see what Sheldon looks like, to see if he actually can make a dent in that. Because call me naive, based on all that you have said, this will now sound naive. But with that kind, Garrett Walker won that seat by I think 140 votes or 142 votes. And in 2012 he won it by maybe about 60 more, and before that maybe about 120 more, and before that maybe about 200 more. So it has been going down. The numeration is also very dismal in terms of the numbers. So based on my own small political analysis and whatever little knowledge I have of the politics, I think Sheldon have a good shot at Brandon Hill. What do you think?
Well, I'd be very happy if Sheldon were to win Brandon Hill. That would be lovely. Um,
And that is
I
not about
can't, I
money.
can't,
That is
I
not
can't
about
say,
money and the
hold on.
oligarchy and all of that.
No,
I'm just
I,
telling you raw facts
no, but no, no.
what is
No, no.
there, you know?
Well, the raw facts that you have quoted are within the context of a JLP and PNP dichotomy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
not in the
is. It
context
is.
of a three-horse race with an independent that is heavily funded by both. That doesn't have the resources to commute across the constituency with the kind of frequency and depth which is necessary to win an election. So if Mr. McGann or myself or Mr. Wright or Mr. Neal or Mr. Harper should win, it would be a miracle. What you will see, though, is an indication of the willingness of those who are able to think outside the box to do so. So you might see, for example, in an election where we have maybe 3,000 votes, you might see, if the electorate is maturing more, those who are not driven by the two-party mindset, who are not driven by the monies that are spent by those parties, might decide that they want to support Mr. McGann or Mr. Wright or Mr. Neal or Mr. Harper or myself. So out of 3,000 votes, you might see such candidates getting 100, 75, 50, if they're lucky, 200. Now, if by chance your analysis should prove true, and Mr. McGann, let's say, gets a third of the votes, or a little bit more than a third of the votes, and based on how it all spin out, he wins by one or two, three or four or five, 10 votes, then that'd be beautiful. That would be a miracle. But I wouldn't hold my breath on it, on the reality. And I think you know the reality too.
Yeah, but I am a big believer in miracles, in
Wonderful.
myself. But how can I ask you a question? How long has the UIC been in existence?
The UIC was registered as a political party in on the 2nd of December 2019.
Mm. All right, so that's basically 2020. That's 5 years now.
Mhm.
Would you say that you have
2019.
made? Would you say that you have made any kind of impact anywhere
Absolutely.
in any particular places?
We have made a lot of impact. As a matter of fact, a simple one was what happened during COVID. I mean, while almost all of the Caribbean countries were, taken to over 65% injection rate, because of UIC's efforts, it almost was held in check to about 20% because of our efforts. A lot of the policies that we hear being spouted by both parties today are influenced by the UIC's manifesto on our 10-point plan. The Prime Minister makes it a big habit of his to try to repackage as much of our arguments as possible. Even your party. I mean, I've heard, many of your members trying to coin UIC's ideas and spread them accordingly. To look at our land policy, UIC has been the first political party at this level to clearly don't see the need to have land reparation. I was shocked after our announcement to hear it quickly being co-opted by members of the PNP. But such is politics. That's all I say. So that's fine.
But you know,
But,
Mr. Patterson, you know it doesn't take much money to go into communities and talk to people, right?
well,
It doesn't take much resources to do that.
let me adjust that accordingly. Let's think this through. Um, what does it take to go into communities and speak to people? It takes time, and it takes petrol, and it takes wear and tear, and the ability to finance that wear and tear. And I know as one who have done it. I have traversed all of Northeast St. Elizabeth at some serious cost to me in terms of what happened to my vehicle and the cost in petrol. And when you are a professional, like I am, I'm a CPA, I service clients around the world in the areas of financial management. And when you have to take time away from your client file to work, that's money, you know. So if you're able to have, let's say, 2,000 billing hours for the year, and you're spending 2 or 3 days out of every week, you're talking about a good, from a Jamaican context, 10, $15 million. So this is not a light matter. And I know we give the impressions to Jamaicans that politics is a simple matter. It's only simple when you have a backer giving you $350 million. When you have somebody footing the bill. Like if somebody pays my bill right now, pays my bill to be out there, you'd see me in every nook and cranny. But when I'm out there doing it by myself, on my own dime, that's my mortgage payment, that's my car payment, that's my children's education, that's my health insurance, that's my house insurance, that's my maintenance bill on my home. So it's not like, and I wish we stopped this and started to tell the Jamaican people what's going on in politics. Let me tell you what's going on. Bottom line, there are those who know the value of controlling our government and they're paying for it. And when they pay for it, they get the value back. So if somebody is willing to invest $350 million in your party winning, it's because them go and get a return on their money and they intend to get that return. And they have gotten that return. That's how Jamaica fell into $2 trillion in debt. That's how our people were sacrificed to pay back that debt for a prime minister to now be showing off about how the debt come down upon the back of the Jamaican people, why that debt come down. And so we have paid for a debt. We have paid for a debt that we have not benefited from. Back in the 1960s, when the JLP got how much money to build schools and only built half the number of schools at twice the price, we're paying for that to this day because our parents and grandparents didn't get the quality education they should have gotten. They were placed into shift school, overcrowded classroom, underfunded teaching supplies, poorly educated teachers, where we're using teachers who we call them pre-trained and all that kind of foolishness and messing up our students' mind. We have basic school with teachers who don't know math, beating up children to learn their times table. These factors have traveled with us to this day, and we're paying the price for 80 years of the GLP and PNP type of politics funded by the PSOJ oligarchy.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, that's very, very interesting. 'Cause I wish we could stay all night. But I have the Braze River figure for you.
Mhm.
The voter turnout in 2016 was 23%. Damn. 23% of voters turnout in the Braze River division in 2016.
Mhm.
The PNP got 1,261 votes, and the JLP got 796 votes. I don't know how much the enumeration numbers. Let me give you some as a political. Let me give you before I let you speak to the voters of the 5 division that you have representatives in. Let me give you some political argument. I will not even call that an advice under any circumstance at all. One of the things about Jamaican people and the politics, you see, is that people have become accustomed to a certain level of behavior. with their political representatives. They don't feel like they have the power to hold them accountable. Um, and those who even dare to stand up to them fear the repercussions of that. So it's not that people are not aware; they are fully aware. They just don't have the stomach or the gravitas or the courage to stand up to the people who who they choose to represent them. And and that is what one of my thing, why I am on social media every day is simple. Mark Golding, Peter Bunting, Dayton Campbell, all of them joined together, created an internal party in the People's National Party, started an operation that undermined the leadership of the People's National Party. And Peter Bunting started that from about 2017 because he wanted to become leader. They undermined the party, undermined their leader, betrayed the leader, betrayed the party, betrayed the country. And by doing that, they damaged the PNP and they took control and they grabbed control of the People's National Party. And they now have that control, which they have had since 2018, 19, 20, 2020, since 2020, after we lost the general elections. They went about and they systematically sabotage individual candidates in, and I promise I'll get into a point, something ahead and I want to go. Individually sabotage various constituencies for people to lose. They went after Lisa Anna, they went after Damian Crawford, they went after Imani Duncan, they went after Crystal Tomlinson, they went after Wicca Matney, they went after Dwayne Vaz, they went after a host of people that they believe would be an hindrance to them to have total control of the People's National Party. And thus created us, the resistance, to them. Because I believe, and many of us out here believe in the resistance, that a traitor can be tamed and a traitor should not be rewarded. Because if that is the case, then we would have to ask people to reward Judas for betraying Christ. And we don't believe in that. Having said that, why I said that to you? I said that to you because now that they have control of the People's National Party, they are at will to just name individuals into seats. Individuals that the voters themselves say them don't want. Individuals that the PNP people who work the constituencies and work the divisions say them don't have no use for. Individuals like the young lady named Miss Hamilton who's working the Otarias division. Yeah? Those people who they have just placed in position without getting the approval of the PNP delegates and the voters. Now, in an election year like this, where the government has its back against the wall, people are, I can't find another word to use with upset. And personally, I do attack Mr. Holness. Mr. Holness is my member of parliament, and I have no reason to attack him. That is the duty of the opposition leader. But because of what they have done, Mark Golding and Peter Bunting and them, that clan, they have created within the PNP and the larger Jamaica a vacuum where people are distrustful of basically everything and everyone. Mark Golding is unable to operate as an opposition leader because I don't know if it's in conscience, I don't know if it's calm, I don't know it's what, but every turn him turn, the good Lord is against him because of what they did to the People's National Party. Which brings me to what I'm saying to you now. It is because of that why they now have some third-rate candidates representing the people in some constituencies and some division. Which is why I'm saying to you that the UIC could field as many candidates as possible. You probably would not win. But based on what you are saying and what you stand for, which is the same thing that we stand for. I mean, I'm not with you on the whole money thing and the oligarch thing and the PSOJ thing. I'm not with you on that. I don't know how that works. Why? Because I've been operating as a politician since I was about 12. And I know how the rope is. Your organization, ever since you came on the scene, you came on the scene with a big bang. Big bang. And a lot of people was enthused about the fact that here is a serious third party to come challenge these guys. And people were actually pinning them hopes on you and that, and your party. So it's quite a disappointment to see that you only have 5 candidates feeling in place. And I understand the whole money thing. And if I'm to believe you and if I'm supposed to buy your argument of how the money thing works in terms of representation, then all that you said from the beginning when you started the UIC doesn't seem to make much sense to me. I know you're going to want to answer me on that, but I just want to get that out there to you because I am expressing to you a certain level of frustration that a lot of people feel like me about how the system works, this two-party thing. And we know them backing up each other. We know that them out there campaign against each other, but we know them back up each other too as well. Because I have a neighbor across the road, a young fellow, who said to me, who told me, said a very serious thing to me one morning. Because we meet up outside the gate at morning time, 3, 4 of us, is we sweep up the square, make sure we're square clean and garbage properly put away and all of that. And him said to me, say, I want you to understand something, you know, Queen. Something serious. You see that guy, the Mark Golding? He was working with Mr. Oldness. He was a useful idiot to Mr. Oldness. And I mean, when the man said at the time, it seemed, out of sorts. But when you think about it, that could possibly be true as well. I mean, not a conspiracy theorist along that line. The UIC is the party that came on the scene. And every person that is now running as an independent because their party rejected them. There are maybe about 4 or 5 candidates for the JLP that their party have rejected and so them running as independent. There may be about, I think in all maybe it's about 14 persons running as independent outside of the UIC thing. All of them should be running as UIC based on what you're saying, based on what you're proposing that will move away from. And all of those people should be under that umbrella now to start making that impact because all of them seem to be finding them own little hustling to go over together. And some of them are sitting council, so them have some resources.
So that is the difference between I'm a little surprised at your reasoning and analysis because if you have been involved in politics since 12 years old, I've been involved since 7 years old. My mother was quite a political activist, and I've been around the block with her a lot of time. And it's because I understand our politics why I created the UIC because I could never bring myself to vote for either of those two colonial parties. So I'm surprised that you don't understand how this thing works. Let me help you to.
Now that I don't understand it, I just don't agree with your analysis of how it works.
So I had a good chat yesterday.
Is disagreeing with you and how you put it?
Yeah, I had a good chat yesterday while I was at the polling station in Goshen Basic School. I had a chance to chat with. Sorry?
Roger Clapton.
Yes, I had a chance to chat with some people from both sides of the aisle, and we had some intellectual discussions and some less than intellectual discussions. And at one point, one of the gentlemen said to me, I have to concede that you really know what you're talking about. So let me see if I can bring back home here. Do you any credible third party that tries to rise up in Jamaica faces a number of challenges? One, the media is controlled by the same people. Follow me. The same people who control the two parties. The media. One of the key things for you to break through the minds of the Jamaican people is, well, it's easier if you're able to avail yourself of the media. If you're able to be seen on the same news cycle where whatever the issue is, you hear from the news. PNP this, JLP this, full stop. PNP this, JLP this, full stop. So they have done a very good job since September 22nd, 2021, when I was arrested for that march on Jordan House. They have done a tremendous job of making sure that not a single press release from the UIC ever makes it to the news. Not a single press release. We stop sending them now. Not a single comment on no issue. Whatever the issue is, there is not a single issue. All they want to talk to us about is if we have an internal problem. Yes, we want to hear that. Come and tell us about the internal problem. Or if election comes, yes, come and tell us how much candidates you have. Because they know that their goal is to depreciate third parties in the minds of Jamaicans. And they get Jamaicans to believe third parties can't win. So they're very strategic, and you should know that. So it's not a simple game of your party just being present and available and engaging. There are forces that are working tremendously hard to destroy the UIC. And they have sent plant after plant after plant after plant into our movement. And they have tried to discredit me at every turn. They have used the fact that we apply for bank accounts from all the major banks in Jamaica, and they have weaponized the banking system against us by ensuring they would not and never, even now, 9, 10 months, 11 months now, with NCB for the second time. The first time we applied to NCB was 2016. They took 1 year to then tell us no. And again, in 2023, 24 now, it's
Them
been 11
sabotaging you,
months.
Mr. Patterson.
Of course, of course. And so they're trying very hard. Because what happened? Here's the fact. If you can get up, if you can make sure a political party can't have a traditional bank account, that's an excellent weapon. Because then you can accuse the leadership of some kind of problems with money. Because they're not following, they're not able to use just the regular banking system, the regular bank account in a normal way. And they have used that against me and tried very hard to discredit me. It hasn't worked. I shouldn't say it hasn't worked. It has always made it difficult for us, and I keep fighting back and overcoming. But it's very hard, right? The longer they do this, the more they hope that at some point I break. And they're trying to break me through that. They've tried to break me with their plans.
Let me get something. I don't cut you. Pardon me, sir. You're saying none of the major banks have allowed you to open an account in your organization?
Yes.
They should complain to the resistance about those things.
Which resistance?
That's us.
Well, I mean, now you're
You're
hearing
complaining
it.
now. Now that you're
I thought
complaining, we hear you.
No, I thought you would have heard of all of this already
No,
because
no.
I know you. I know you
I
pay
really
attention.
wasn't paying you guys any attention. I'm busy with Mark
Oh,
Golding and him crew.
okay, well that's understandable. I mean, you're a PNP, and so you're dealing with
Yeah, man,
PNP
I'm
business.
PMP.
That's
Yeah.
understandable.
Mark Golding
That's
is a
correct.
labor
That's
right.
correct.
Correct.
So I'm not here complaining to you. What I'm trying to do is to open the minds of your viewers and maybe yours as well to say, listen, it's not as simple as you presented it a while ago. There is just like what they did to Marcus Garvey. You know what they did to Marcus Garvey? In the 1930s, when Marcus Garvey started the Marcus Garvey Party, the first political party in Jamaica, before PNP, before GLP, he had a vision of organizing our people politically to take political power so they could get their own, things done. And three groups came together very quickly to get rid of him. The colonial masters that were still here in their full forces. They're still here now, but they're more fully and visible here. The colonial masters, they came together with who? The plantocracy and the media, and they made sure that they discredited Marcus Garvey at every possible turn till he finally left the country. You understand? They want to do the same thing with any major third party that comes with a strong agenda and the kind of leadership. They love fool third parties. They like third parties who are led by people who don't know what they're talking about and can just they're jesters. They're like clowns to them. They love to have those around. But anytime there's a serious one that pops up, they will do everything possible to get rid of it. But this time, they're going to fail.
That's a very good point to move to segue into. I mean, we could argue about this forever. So, Mr. Patterson, I'm so glad to have you on. I'm glad to hear you. And I mean, I've never listened to anything you say. I must admit that. Never ever listened to anything you say. So it was good to hear you tonight. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk to the voters of those 5 divisions that you have representatives in. I give you the floor and you talk to the voters.
Well, I mean, the voters in Northeast St. Elizabeth, and I don't know about all the other divisions, but they know what I stand for. They know that I am here as their candidate for good governance. They know that I am here to defend and protect their tax dollars, to make sure that what is collected is spent in the way that it should, that we get value for money for what we invest in, as taxpayers. They know that I'm here to deal with the basic challenges that they face. I mean, we lack the kind of road infrastructure that we need. We lack the kind of water access in some areas that we need. We lack a clear policy to support our farmers, to bring back farming in these communities. We lack the kind of community amenities. I mean, we most of our all of our community centers, every one of them are in derelict conditions, unfit for even animals to live in some cases. So they need their community centers. Our young people are starving for employment opportunities here in their own parish. Our ackee factories are closed, our cassava factories are just standing still. So we need to bring back hope into our people. And here, I'm not going to be able to do it by myself, but I'm hoping to bring the kind of leadership to the parish council that will get us to move away from the partisan politics and start to focus on the lives of our citizens here in Northeast, the lives of our citizens across the country. Let us focus on dealing with the basic fundamental issue. People want infrastructure in place that will allow them to achieve their full capacity. They want an education system that will give us a modern education to help our students compete in a global economy which is fast leaving Jamaica behind. They want a healthcare system that is not just peddling European pharmaceuticals on them, but one that will bring us back in touch with our indigenous medicine. They want a leadership that understands that for years we've been denied our basic right to our lands. Our lands must be divested and given back to the people free of charge. It's their ancestors' land that was stolen from them by the colonial masters and withheld from them by the politicians that they thought were going to lead them to the promised land. They thought the two major parties were real. They thought that Manley and Buster, the Son and Siaga, that they were really about lifting up the Jamaican people. But the reality is, after 80 years of those two parties, the Jamaican people are way behind where they could be. And how you can measure that? If you compare Jamaica today to Singapore, which was equally poor, in fact, more poor, smaller, less resources, and in 25 years, one great leader of the stature of Michael Manley, Lee Kuan Yew, a great leader who commanded the respect and attention of his people, was able to lead them from third world to first world in 25 years. We have now had 80 years under several leaders, whether it's black man time now, or woman time now, or young people time now. In all cases, these two parties have failed the Jamaican people on every single metric, whether it's the metric of education, whether it's the metric of health, whether it's the metric of the economy. And don't tell me the economy is doing good now. The economy is only doing good for those at the top. It's oppressing and suppressing those at the bottom. The laws and regulations we have in place are all written to oppress the Jamaican people and protect the interest of big business. It has worked. It has made us mere wage slaves and less than wage slaves. Our teachers are living in poverty. Our police officers are living in poverty. They have to do second jobs, third jobs, side hustles, which compromises them. They can't focus on building their lesson plans and teaching their students. They can't focus on being respectable police officers and being men and women that the children in communities can look up to. It's time for us as a people to recognize the damage, the wreck that has been done to our country by these two parties and turn our backs on them. Turn our backs on the PSOJ, which controls them, and say it's time for us to own and control our own country. And the only way to do that is for we, the people, to own our own party. The UIC is our party. It's from the bowels of the people. It's grassroots. It will never be funded and owned by the PSOJ. It will be funded and owned by the people of Jamaica. And that's what I represent. And why is it that all these independents don't come to us? Because we have standards. We have values. We will never compromise. If you join us, you must join us on the values, the principles on which we stand, not just to win an election. We're not about winning elections at all costs. We're about representing the Jamaican people at all costs. We're about bringing out in our people the best at all costs. These two parties have brought out the worst in us. Their system, their colonial system, which from independence to now has maintained a colonial power at the head of our government as head of state. They have brought them to this country that were kids pushing their hands through mesh wires to touch their white skins, as opposed to having them reflect upon how we got here and why we have been so trampled by the very people who wrote a piece of paper and gave us a constitution that does not reflect us. And it's not about us. It's about maintaining the structures of colonialism. We must mash down that lie. And I am here to help and to lead that process. And nothing is going to stop us. Not the banks, not the ECJ, not the PSOJ. We are going to prevail because we are on the side of right. And once the people understand this, they will rise up and take what is truly theirs.
And then, there you have it, Jamaica. As Mr. Joseph Patterson telling you what going to happen. Thank you very much, Mr. Patterson, for joining us. Could you just repeat again for the viewers the 5 divisions that you have candidates in?
Sure. So we have Mr. Winston Wright in Eastern Westmoreland, and he's in the Betheltown division. We have Mr. Chase Neal, who is in Western St. Mary, and he's in the Gale division. We have Mr. Sheldon McGann. He is in West Rural St. Andrew, and he's in the Brandon Hill division. We have Mr. Harper, Kenneth Harper, and he's in East Rural St. Andrew, and he's in the Mount Industry division. I am in Northeast St. Elizabeth, and I'm representing the Braze River division. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. God bless you. Stay
Take care.
safe
All the best.
and good hunting out there. Good luck.
Respect. All right.
Well, there we have it. Mr. Joseph Patterson. Well, I'm full of it. But we wish the UIC luck. We hope that the UIC make an impact in many of the things that Mr. Patterson have said is true, and that is good. So here's how we're going to do this now. We're going to end this shortly. This is indeed my last live for now till after the elections. I will not come back on live until after the elections. So I just want to make a little, just say a few things regarding going into Monday's election. First, I want to say to Region 3, get up and go out in your numbers and vote for your Region 3 candidates. I think that River can win Raytown. So we are asking Raytown people them to come out and support River. I think that Buju have a very good chance in spite of the fact that he was so late out of the box out in Dallas Division in East Rural. And we know that Mrs. Holden is going to try all our chicanery. But we're asking the PMP people them to go out in Dallas Division and support Buju. I saw that Dr. Phillips had been out with Comrade Strawn in the Aglipart division. It's going to be a tough race for her, but it's also possible. So we're asking the Aglipart comrades to stand up and man up and pad up and get busy and go get out on themselves and get out on the PMP people them and vote for Wynette Strawn. So I hope and I pray that there is some strategy for Papi and there is some strategy for Trafalgar to retain the PMP seats in the council, and I pray that God will bless you all the candidates, both the JLP and the PMP candidates. Good luck with your campaign, and stay safe while you're doing it. I'm encouraging the voters out by St. Thomas, East and West PMP voters to come out and show some love. They listen to Mr. Patterson say, go out and vote for the PMP candidates, authentic PMP candidates. I really don't care about Councillor Marr in Landui. I hope him lose. But please go out and vote for all of your other PMP candidates out in St. Thomas. And tell your family and your friends to come out and vote. All over the country, the PMP people them know who me talking. Vote for an authentic PMP. If you have any risers, whenever you never elect, those who them push pound and you never want, you have no obligation to vote for them. Let Dayton and Mark and all of them who install them, let them go find people vote for them and people who work for them. You under no obligation, but under obligation to go out and vote for your authentic PMP candidate. The ones them that you select, the ones them that you wanted and you got. But the ones them that didn't put in and Mark send and nobody no business would on the don't have to vote for them. But me not telling you what to do. Because I do believe that elections belong to the people. It is your decision. It is your choice. To the wider Jamaica, I say, make good choices. Make good choices about who is going to be the representative for you in your council for the next 4 years. Make wise choices. Forget about what color shirt them have on. Make wise and good choices as to who is going to represent you and your children and your community. I want to big up the people in Red Hills to remember that there are 3 candidates up there. There's a JLP candidate, there's a PMP candidate, Keisha Hale, and there is this young woman who is a PMP, but a community person who help in our community, Miss Kildare. And if you can, and you're willing, and you like what she's saying, you should go out and vote for her. That's all I'm saying. Not forcing nobody to do nothing. I mean, anybody can't force you to do nothing. And we know that the money politics will reign on Monday. We know that the ground operations are going to kick in. I am very, very skeptical about some of the ground operations, but I have said it all already. I don't know if there's anything else I can say about that, except to exercise your franchise, exercise it, and vote for the candidate of your choice. If it's not your choice, if it's Mark's choice, you're not an obligation for vote for him. If it's Dayton choice, you're not an obligation for vote for him or her either. But do go out and vote for your authentic PMP candidate. So, finally, stay safe, everybody. And on Monday, I am pleading with the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party supporters, keep it civil and keep it safe. Nobody beat up nobody, nobody lick down nobody. We can quarrel. Quarrel is a must. We can say gway and gray and gray, but that's it. Just keep it at that. All right? So everybody, behave yourself. Stay safe until I see you again, till you hear from me again. Thank you very much for tolerating me these past couple of days, for coming on in your face in your homes every night. Well, every night except Wednesday, I believe. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. When I come back on my first live after the elections, I will be coming back to answer some questions that some people have asked and to make some comments about some things that some people have said on the various lives. And I promise you, I will do that. All right? So continue to subscribe. Those of you who have not yet subscribed, please share the lives to your family and your friends and comment and set your notification. God bless you. Stay safe and keep the children safe. Good night, everyone.